they are telling this auspicious son of wind crosses the sea. He is Hanuman. Hinder him for a moment. We want to see his power and strength. So, and we want to see whether he's getting discouraged or he's winning over you. So, for accepting that, Surasa takes a huge and terrific form of a Rakshasi and stands in middle of the sea. And so she is hindering that Hanuman, and we saw that story. So she will tell that you have to get into my mouth, and then only whoever is crossing this ocean, they have to get into my mouth and then go. Otherwise, there is no. You have to come. So. They both will change the size, and when Nagamata opens her mouth gigantically, and Hanuman becomes so small, enters into her mouth, and he says, now I have crossed your mouth, now I have to go. Then she takes the real form, and she wishes, give him blessings that you will go and meet Sita, and your task you will accomplish your task. And then again he is flying in the space. And after some time, as you said, that something he is thinking that it's pulling himself down. So that is Rakshasi, again told by Sugriva and Simhika. Correct. So Simhika, she has a terrifying face, and realizing Sugriva's words, Hanuman, just like the cloud grows he takes a form of a very big form. And but the Simhika also, she is like she opens her mouth in such a way that she can eat that cloud also. So that so in that huge form, Hanuman was able to see her organs inside, and so he becomes a tiny form. He enters into her, and he tears the vital organs of Simhika and comes out, thereby killing her. And finally, Sookshma roopa and Bheema roopa.
Yes. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you. Now, what we will do is we will see how it applies to us. We saw the Adi Bhautika part.
Overall story.
Yeah, this is the story as it happened. Itihasa. Does it happen? This is okay. Now, for us, the questions. All discuss, okay, one. So, when Hanuman, on which he stands, no, it is called as Mahendra Chala. No? So, when
First,
from the beginning, from this end, when he takes off, he just he becomes very enthused, and then he takes that leap. So it said in the Raamacharita this Tulsidas he describes as Hanuman went like an arrow of Sri Rama. He just shot off from that mountain like an arrow goes from Sri Rama's quiver. So this arrow of Rama is called as Amogha. Anyone knows why it's called Amogha? Any idea? Nirmala? Anyone? Why is Sri Rama's arrow called Amogha? Because it had a very special power. Yes, Neha?
I mean, I was just trying to say that it's, it can reach the entire universe, something like that. I don't know.
Correct. So it would, his speciality of Rama's Bana was, it would leave the quiver Go reach the target and come back and sit back in the quiver. So now that we know what is this amogha power of the Hanuman's Rama's arrow, why do you think Hanuman is called the arrow of Rama? What parallels can we get from this example?
So when he starts, he also mentions that I will go and see Sita and come back like Ramabana. So is it because of that reason? So he goes and serves the purpose and comes back and gives the information to Rama.
So the arrow is what? Does it have a Chaitanya of its own or what? The arrow is merely an instrument, no? That is the implication. All of us should act as if we are mere instruments of the Lord. That's the arrow. The arrow just goes, finishes the jobs and comes back. It doesn't brag. I did this, I did that, because of me all this happened. No, it's an instrument. And that was the attitude with which Hanuman went. That is why he became the Amogha Bada of Rama. Otherwise, the arrow would fall into the sea if he were not an Amogha Bada. That's how he got the power. That's how he got everything, because the Sankalpa was Rama's. Like Kamala nicely explained, so many things came, and it was all Lord Rama's Sankalpa that all this has to be done, and he will come back. So that was the Amogha Bhana. Another thing is, why the arrow assumes that I am the greatest, like most of us, because the shooter is not seen. When the arrow is going, you don't see the shooter if he is, somewhere behind. So we forget the one who is wielding the bow and arrow. That means, what do we forget when we are acting, talking, everything? We forget that Chaitanya is behind all this. That is the problem. That is when the ego takes forefront, and then काम बिगड़ जाता है. काम संवरता नहीं. रामचंद्र की kaaja sanvaare. It won't happen. Bigade. We'll spoil our own work because we have the ego is in front and Rama is not in front. So that is what Krishna says in the Gita. What does he say to Arjuna? Nimittamatram bhava savyasachi. You just become my instrument. I will accomplish everything through you. How beautiful if we can remember that, no? All the time. I'm just a nimitta. Everything is being done. Everything is being taken care. Yesterday, Jayashree ji had shared a beautiful this thing in Kannada. I don't know if how many people read it. It was very beautiful. Every time Hanuman encounters something, somehow it all, it is he so many insurmountable obstacles, but everything is kind of smoothened out for him. That's because the Ramaji Sankalpa was there. Okay, done. And then the second obstacle he comes through is Mainaka Parvata. You remember the story of Mainaka Parvata? That was a Parvata which used to fly. Earlier, Parvatas used to fly in the air. And then it was very troublesome, it used to go and hit humans and, other animals and all. So Indra Devata said, I'll cut your wings. And he cut all the wings of these Mainakas, of the Parvatas. And one Mainaka went into the sea and hid itself. So that he didn't want to be destroyed. Like this, some legend is there. And so when Hanuman is going, the Mainaka comes and says, okay, please take rest on me. I want to do some seva. And Hanuman says, it just touches and goes. What is the meaning of this? What does this Mainaka Parvata tell us? Anyone, please. I'm sure it's very, very simple. What is the teaching behind this? I hope you cannot hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Mainaka Parvata, so the thing is about gratitude, right?
Mainaka is gratitude. What does Hanuman do? Anta. Yes, Suma.
Basically, like Hanuman, he doesn't forget his goal. He's goal oriented. He has to go and find Sita Mata. So instead of taking rest, he's pursuing his
This
purpose. Yeah.
correct. This taking rest is a very, very human weakness. We start something and then you feel like resting, and that taking rest or any opportunity we grab to take some rest. Unless you are very, very, very driven and motivated, we tend to do that. So that drive and motivation has to be always burning inside us for whatever job we take up, even a secular job, even in the outer world, whatever job we take. Who are the ones who really succeed? Who are these unicorns? Facebook, Apple, Google. How did they all work? They just work day and night in a small garage. They didn't break for anything. No, they just forgot. When we are passionately involved in something, I guess that's what happens. You forget sleep or food and anything else. They forget to shave, they forget to brush their teeth, they just work. That is the passion. It is said that Hanuman didn't even eat or sleep through all this mission of his. So resting on Mainaka was out of question for him. Goal has to be achieved. That was the Rama kaaja. And in the Ramacharita there's a very beautiful line. Tulsidas himself writes in this Sundara Kanda, he writes, when Mainaka says, come and rest, Hanuman says, Rama kaaja kare bina mohe kaha vishram. Until I achieve Rama kaaja, where is the vishram for me, he says. So that's the lesson for us. Whenever we take up a important or big project, it doesn't literally mean don't rest. It means keep the goal burning, let it always be there. That is the mumukshutva, especially in for this Vedanta studies, that mumukshutva should always be kept burning. Simmer mode, it should be always there. Whatever we do, that should be always burning. That is our Ramakaja. Everything else is Ramakaja, but this is the most important Ramakaja, Rama's work for us. All right. Next, there is the Surasa, that big Surata is the mother of all the serpents, like Kamlaji said. What does that say? Surasa becomes big. Surasa opens one yojana. This fellow becomes 2 yojana. Then it is said 100 yojana Surasa opens her mouth. And Hanuman becomes 200 yojanas. And then suddenly he becomes small, enters the mouth and comes back. So this has got an implication. What? Please, people think and answer. What does it mean?
Purnimaji, it means that, whatever complication comes in your goal, you should not get distracted with that. You should become bigger, take it as a challenge and, you should go ahead.
What is it? He becomes big and then small also. That has also got an implication.
This is what I understand it.
Anyone else? Sneha wanted to say something.
He's dynamic enough to become bigger or smaller as the situation demands.
Be more adaptive.
Yeah, correct. Dynamic, adapted. That's right. So, see, who is a person who can be, dynamic? I should always be bigger. No prestige issue there. This clearly says, pick your battles. You can lose the battle to win the war. That's what he did. He said, if we go on playing this game, she will become big, I will become big. This is never going to end. So the smart thing to do is beat the fellow at his own game. He's so smart, no? We should learn how to do that in life. When to challenge your opponent, when to become small, when to how to achieve your goal without compromising on the goal itself. All these things are the lessons we get from this Surasa episode. Stooping to conquer. We have heard all these phrases. This is exactly a management lesson that Hanuman is giving us. Stooping to conquer. We should do that. There is no prestige issue over here. And also Surasa, Surasa means she is the Devata. Sura means Devata. See, the Devatas only have sent this Surasa to test Bhagwan, to test Hanuman. How capable is he of achieving this impossible task? So that is also there. So this Devatas means they are the sense organs. So use the sense organs. Don't get consumed by them. Become small in front of the sense organs and come out of it. The sense organs occupy our entire life. We are hearing, tasting, touching, smelling. The world beckons every moment. And so we have to be very flexible like Hanuman. When we want, we consume. When we don't, when we know it's enough, Viveka, Vairagya should kick in and we should become small in front of these huge, attractions, distractions rather. That is one thing. And then that is when, otherwise, what does Krishna say in the Gita? Yoga will become dukkha. Always if one is in bhoga, it will become, yoga will turn into dukkha. Yogo bhavati dukkha, he says. That is Surasa. And then Simhika. Simhika is the one who draws the shadow. What is the metaphor of the shadow in this example? What does the shadow stand for? Can anyone think of it? What is the metaphor of the shadow? Shadow in this example is our ego. Does the ego have any, astitva by itself? No. It is an illusory thing. It has no strength at all. That is the whole teaching of Vedanta. Your shadow is illusory. It doesn't exist, but you're holding on to it and it drags you down. See, this illusory ego is playing so much havoc with our minds. The ego is as illusory as the shadow. This Sinhika episode is about the ego. So what does one become in front of the ego? You become big and you come out of it. See, there's a in Sanskrita, there's a shloka which says, what are the 4 big things about the ego? What does it rest on? The ego, yauvanam, dhanasampatti, prabhutvam, avivekata. All these are the qualities of the ego which it takes support of this and becomes big. Ante. When one is young, one feels very capable of anything. Yauvanam, garva. Garva is there about one's youth. And then dhanasampatti. When you have money, yes, I can conquer the world. This is a rajasic kind of, strength you get from, having enough money, which is not bad at all. Money is very, very important, but it should not turn into pride of money. You can use everything. Use the yavana, use the dhana, and then prabhutvam, the power. When you're in a position of power, it gives one a kick. You get a kick out of being in power. And then, of course, all this is backed by avivekata. Aviveka. You don't know how to use these resources. You become a slave of them. And it leads to, the shloka says, anartham. So, all this will lead to anartha. Nothing good will ever come out of reveling in these things. So, that is what happens. So, like Simhika, what he does, Simhika drags him down, that is the ego drags him down, and he becomes big. Just kills the ego. See, Surasa, he doesn't kill. The sense organs, we don't kill. We need the sense organs to operate in the world. But Surasa, the ego, kill it. There is no dilly-dallying. There is no winning this is the biggest battle. It is not a small battle. So kill Simhika and go ahead. So these 3 things, the Mainaka, Parvata and the Surasa and the Simhika, they represent our problems at the body level, senses level, and the mind level. That is what the commentators, they give the description like this. Okay. And then
Sorry, Purnima, body level, mind
body
level.
level is Mainaka. You want to rest.
Huh.
And senses level, surasa, the whole world is attracting us at the time. There is a sense level. And then the simhika is the ego level, ego,
Okay.
that mind level.
Hmm.
These three problems or these three obstacles are there for us in any project we launch into. We can get distracted by these things. And the whole this thing of Hanuman becoming, when Jambavan tells him that you are meant for Rama kaaja, he becomes so enthused and he becomes parvatakara. He becomes big and he leaps across the ocean. So that also has, see, everything has got a metaphorical meaning, and metaphysical meaning, and a metaphorical and adhyatmika meaning. So what does that tell us? How to become big in front of sometimes the goal might seem impossible to achieve. Impossible. Oh my God, this is not aggo. We have heard ourselves say that so many times. No, no, no. Don't be, this is impossible. At that point of time, leaping across the ocean, finding Sita Mata somewhere in Lanka, bringing back everything seemed quite impossible. When they set out only the Vanaras, it seemed like an impossible goal in that forest without a compass, without anything. How did everything happen? Seemed quite impossible. But another way to look at impossible is I am possible. Apostrophe M, I am possible. That's what Hanuman is demonstrating here. If I am inspired enough, impossible becomes possible. Mission impossible becomes possible. So why was
Very
it?
nice.
Yeah, isn't it? So why was Hanuman inspired? Because of Rama, devotion. All the elements have to come here. Inspiration. See, one can be inspired, but one does not have devotion. When you take God out of the equation, God meaning whatever you want to call it, the universal power or the higher power or whatever you want to call it. If you take that out, I am doing it anta hodare, you get exhausted. One gets exhausted very fast. 100 yojanas, he couldn't have, leapt 100 yojanas and come back also. So much inspiration he had, the motivation, the inspiration, the energy. Everything came because of his devotion to Lord Rama. So I don't know what we hold on to as inspiration as a higher power, but that is very, very important. I think I have shared this very beautiful example. When the Titanic was built, it was an unsinkable ship. It was so beautiful. Just give me a minute. This power is not coming on. Okay. So when the Titanic was built, the engineers were so proud of themselves that they declared, even God cannot sink this ship. That's what they declared. And we know what happened. So that's what happened when God or the higher power or grace or the factor of luck is taken out of the equation. So that is what it is. Become parvatakara and leap across the ocean means have faith in God or your own self. Atmanirbhar. Have self in the higher self and then achieve the goal. That is one thing. Okay, and then we discussed this yawning episode also. What does it tell us? The yawning episode of Rama. Hanuman takes up the job of clicking his fingers, snapping his fingers when Rama yawns. That says that no task is trivial for a devotee. When it comes to serving the Guru, nothing is trivial. Just do whatever little one can do, let us do it. Pure service without any agenda of being noticed, rewarded, or awarded, or anything. Don't stand in, by the side of the Guru and take a selfie. I have done this. We will never see Hanuman in a selfie picture of Ram, Lakhan and Sita. He is always at the feet of his devata, his devas, isn't it? So that should be the attitude when we rendering any service, any NGO, any service at home also. I cook, I clean, I do whatever, so many things for my family. I go out, earn money, fill in the coffers, pay the bills. But I want to be acknowledged, rewarded, awarded, which is wonderful. They better acknowledge actually the family members. But let me not expect it. That's all. Whatever their dharma, they have to do. If they don't do, it is their problem. But let it not bother me per se. That is the lesson of Hanuman's yawning attitude. Okay. And he doesn't wait to be assigned work also. When every Ram, Lakhan, Sita, everybody they had distributed all the duties for themselves and they didn't give anything to do for Hanuman. But he said, I don't mind. I'll find work to do. I have to serve my Lord. So whenever possible, just lend a hand, whatever it is that would be feel like doing for society. Just lend a hand. And the last and most beautiful lesson from all this is whatever work I'm doing, what is my altar of dedication? For whom am I doing all this? Is it for me? Is it for the family? Is it for society? Is it for my workplace? Who is the altar of your dedication? Say, all of us have to share. Who is my altar of dedication? Now that we have,
I would call it the ultimate. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is the bigger picture. Some people may call it God. That's the bigger picture I look at. There is a reason for everything that I'm doing, which I don't know. It's all predestined. So I just have to do it.
Yeah. No, correct. What you said is correct. But after every work that we do, what do we say? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave us a mantra. What do we do at the end of it? Yes, Padmaja.
Dharman parityajya mameka sharanam vraja.
That is good. That is fine. So many shlokas are there at one particular phrase.
Sarvam Krishna. Whatever we do, it goes to God.
Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Correct. That's the mantra given. That is the altar of dedication. Tat Sat. Tat is that big picture that Sneha was talking about. Sat is also the big picture, which means God, which means Krishna, which means your little Rama, which means your Ganapati or Ganesha, which means your Durga Mata, which means your Hanuman, Anjaneya, whoever is your Ishta Devata, Tat Sat, that is the truth. That should be my altar of dedication. Nothing is being done by me. I'm an arrow. When that kind of focus is there, I cannot do any wrong. And what looks like wrong in the eyes of the world is also right, because it is destined, it is being meant. It is a sankalpa of God. So that is when the vasana baggage that I have, which does not come into my work, everything is going to be Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Okay, that was nice.
One more thing I want to add. The more I crib about, the more I talk negatively, think negatively about or about any work that is in hand, because it's mundane or for whatever reason, the more I'm taking God out of the equation.
Absolutely. That's what, no. When you become a mumukshu, when you're a seeker, you lose the right to grumble. You lose the right to grumble, because now you know that everything is whatever. We have the bigger picture. Then wow, what are you grumbling about? You lose the right.
And laziness, thinking, like you said, thinking, oh, this is not possible. It looks impossible. Such thoughts are also all removing God out of the equation.
See, this is not possible, applies more for, adhyatmika work, or the bigger, the little things, of course, we do. But if I entertain some impossible dreams, like I want to be the Prime Minister of India, I mean, that is, I cannot apply that here. I should see, is it possible or not possible? So that Viveka should always operate when I'm operating in the world. Viveka should always operate, but don't have doubts about, will I become, is this possible? This all sounds so esoteric, realizing God and all that is sound. No, that is possible because we have seen enlightened masters, walking the talk and setting the high standards for us. Is it possible? We should not have the doubt. I am possible. Even in our worldly life also, many things seem impossible, which can be made possible, but within the limitations of everything, times, desha, kala, vastu. These are the three limitations in the outside world that we should have in mind and we should operate. Okay, great. Then what's the time? It's 7:42. Kamala?
Yeah, Purnimanji. So the subtle form is, as you said, no, Prabhuji always says the subconscious mind is only 5%. And whatever you put it in the subconscious mind, so when we say the subtle form, when we go deeper and deeper, it is subtle. Then we realize the God and we get the clarity. And when you open and become consciously that whatever thought or whatever blessings or you have got, no, that you start establishing. And when you in your real world, in the conscious world, you start doing it with absolute surrender of ego and complete non-doership. So if we do in such a way that we can, it will be victorious. So subtle form is we should think that God is within us,
Yes.
and aham brahmasmi. So when you start acting on the world, everything is God in the form of energy,
Yes.
and we are just an instrument. We are not special. So sarvam kalvidam brahma.
Very nice, Kamala. Yes. And we should always remember the beautiful formula given by Hanuman. When I'm in Deha Buddhi, when I'm operating in the world, I operate like a dasoham, dasa of Bhagavan. When I'm meditating, where I'm in a very quiet mode, then I'm an amsha of my Ishtadevata. There is my God and I'm doing japa or dhyana of the Ishtadevata. Then when I'm in completely merged with him, there is no difference between my Rama and me. The essence is the same. Aham Brahmasmi. All these three has to be in the background when we are operating in the world, and we should be able to switch between the roles. When to take which attitude. Okay, good. Now quickly we will see the next one. Oh. This constant power outages have kind of messed it up for me. Okay. सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे. So this is what we have to do this. So we know that Sookshma Roopa Dhari Siyahi Dikhaavaa. He took a very subtle form and he met Sita Mata. What did he do? We know that in Ashoka Vatika, Ravana used to come and threaten Sita. At one point, he comes and says, look up and look, she was always looking down. She never looked Ravana in the face. So he comes and tells her, look at me. He commands her, look at me. So what does she do? She takes a blade of this grass. She takes a blade of grass and says, she looks at the blade of grass and says, you are nothing. You are Trunamatra. I am not going to look at you. Probably if she looked at him, he would have burned to death. He said, I will not. You are a glowworm. She says, that's the term she uses in Sanskrit, some kita. You're a glowworm. Why should I look at you? She says. And so he gets even more insulted. And then he threatens her and goes away. And Mandodari actually comes and stops him. Are, don't do such thing to Sita Mata. She's Bhagwan's wife and all that. And she takes him away. And then what is Hanuman doing? He's in a very Sookshma roopa. He's in a masaka samana. He's a mosquito, as small as a mosquito. He's sitting on the tree and he's observing all these things. And then he starts singing the Ramakatha. So that to establish a connection with Sita Mata. Sookshma roopa dhari. He entered Lanka only with Sookshma roopa. He never went with his proper size or big size or parvatakara. No, Sookshma roopa. Just Sookshma, like Kamala said, very, very subtly he was observing and absorbing everything, and he went and then he made himself trustworthy to Sita Mata. Then he narrated the Ramakatha and then she was happy and he gave the mudrika to Sita. Then Sita was happy that, at least Rama has sent, he's looking for me, and she jokes, look, all your Vanara Sena, they are as small as you. She says. So what does Hanuman do? Then he takes Vikata roop. He becomes big and says, no, 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 no. Not, we are just, we have these, I have these powers. And so he takes a Vikata roopa and then he says, don't worry. Then she's happy. Oh, not bad. She gets some hope. And then what does he do with Vikata roopa? Asura samhaare, he destroys Ashoka Vatika, he eats the fruit. As much as he can destroy Ravana's army, he destroys with that Vikata Rupa. And then, what happens? Lanka jaraavaa. Yes. See, this Lanka jaraavaa business also is very, very, it's where shall I?
Purnima ji, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Maybe she got disconnected. Oh.
Sorry for all these disturbances. So, if Hanuman had been told earlier by Rama, you have to go and burn Lanka, what would have been his thought process? I have to burn Lanka. How to get the fuel? How will I get a matchbox? I don't know what all thoughts would go into the planning. Nothing. Spontaneous, and everything was arranged for him. How? Ravana himself came. He provided the cloth. He provided the fuel. He provided the fire. Everything he provided. For what? For his own destruction. How is that for a management, lesson? All the resources were provided by the enemy for his own destruction. That is the beauty of this Lanka jaraavaa episode. Amazing, isn't it? So cute. Hanuman didn't have to do anything. Everything was provided for him. So, Vikata roopa dhari, Lanka jaraavaa. And then Bheema roopa dhari, asura samhaare. Again, what is this episode? Can anyone see? This is a beautiful carving in one of the ancient temples of India. Can you recognize what this episode is? The clue is in the name. Bheema roopa dhari, asura samhaare.
So he will block the route of Bheema when he was in Vanavasa, and he tries to lift the tail of Hanuman, and he was not able to lift it.
Correct.
And,
Yeah, that is the episode. This is as an example. So what we are saying here is Bheema Rupa Dhari Asura Samhari. The Asura is again the ego. See, the whole of Adhyatma, the whole of Vedanta is about the ego only, nothing else. It's about how to subdue the ego, use the ego rather than being used by the ego. So we know the story of this Bheema. He was full of pride. I am the strongest. Though he was, I believe the Bheema is the most ardent devotee of Lord Krishna, more than Arjuna or more than Dharmaraya. Bheema. But then,
Purnima,
Haili.
can I just talk for a minute then?
What?
Okay.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. I am in this temple called Simhachalam Temple.
Are
It's a
va?
very famous temple in Andhra Pradesh, in
Acha?
Visakhapatnam.
Wonderful.
I don't
Okay.
know, can you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, yeah. So while you were talking about this, I saw a very huge Hanuman statue on the way. So that's where I just switched on the video, then I switched it off.
Lovely.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to deposit the phone, so I thought I can just see the background of that
Yes.
Simhachalam temple.
Simhachalam, beautiful. That is the Bheema Roopa of Hanuman. Become very
Yes.
small and go into the temple. That's all.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. So continue the class. I'll deposit the phone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, dear. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. So in this episode, become Hanuman and kill your ego and become a devotee of Rama. Bottom line. So this episode, we know Bheema was very proud of his strength and Hanuman just lays there and he can't even lift his tail. And then Bheema's ego is, that's just an example. Like this, so many stories are there. People can share the stories if they wish. This was about Bheema roopa dhari, asura samhaare. So again, what is the adhyatmika meaning of this? Sookshma roopa, Vikata roopa, Bheema roopa. See, this Hanuman had all these powers. Anima, Garima, Mahima, Laghima. We know. Ashta Siddhi, Navanidhike Data. It will come later. What does it mean for us when it is said Sookshma, become Sookshma roopa, become Vikata roopa? When should we become Sookshma roopa? A little we discussed earlier also. Sookshma roopa. Can I take Sookshma roopa? Yes, I can. When somebody is in trouble, when I have to console somebody. When somebody is in sorrow, how to approach that person? Take Sookshma roopa. Become very soft, gentle. When you have to lend support to someone, it should not be Vikata Rupa. It should be Sookshma, because at the mind level, at the Sookshma level, the mental level, you are communicating with that person. So that is the way to go about, dealing with people who are sad or sorrowful, or, when you are doing service, we are doing, rendering pancha yagnas, service to Pitru, service to the environment, service to become Sookshma. Become Sookshma. That is what it said. And then when should I become Vikata? When should I become Vikata Rupa? When there are troubles. Burn away the troubles. When I'm required to take charge as a leader, become Vikata Rupa. When responsibility has been given to me by the superior power, by the bosses, take Vikata Rupa. Become big. Then no, you can't be Sookshma. So all this is that Viveka, that discretion has to be employed all the time. How to behave in what situation. Another way to become Sookshma is how? In my opinions become small. That is the problem with us in a debate, in an argument. We want to have the last word. But that is always not the right approach. Become small. It's a great sadhana to be quiet. How to become small is a great sadhana. Okay, Baba, you win the argument. Kya farak padta hai? That should be the argument. What will I achieve by, winning some argument or little things? That's what he did with Surasa. He became small. Okay, that is the Sookshma Rupa is a team player. Vikata Rupa is team leader. Beautiful, no? That's what the commentaries say. Sookshma Rupa and Vikata Rupa. And then Bheema Rupa is, of course, our ego. When I'm hurt, life gives me ample opportunities to get hurt multiple times a day. What do I do? When I feel hurt, when the ego is, receives a blow, like how Lankini received a blow from Hanuman's little fist. So life goes on giving us a little blows, little blows only, but still the ego gets hurt. What does it mean? Become big and understand the lesson behind it. I'm sure all of us have got many stories of how, that life teaches us many lessons through the little blows, and it gets us thinking. So whenever I get hurt with the life's kicks and blows, I should know that the ego removal operation, surgical operation is happening. If I don't realize that, if my pride gets in the way, the experience is invalid, unnecessary. It becomes futile. So every little kick and blow in life, I should know that the ego is being removed. That's the lesson I should take. Otherwise, it is futile. So, Raamachandra ke kaaja sanvaare, Bheema roopa dhari asura sanhaare, Raamachandra ki kaaja sanvaare. Savarna means to, carry it out so beautifully. Savarna. Not bigadna. Not karna. रामचंद्र की काज करना नहीं है, सवारना है. That is how this precious human life has been given to us. Savarna hai. We have to take care of our precious life. Savarna kiske liye? For Ramachandra ki kaaj, काम. So these are the beautiful words of Tulsi Das ji, given to us through Hanuman as a pointer how to lead life. And also Hanuman, after he did all that Ramakaj he did, and he came back and he had told his Kapisena, be here until I come back. Don't go just like that. You please sit here till I come back, and all of us will go together and present the report to Rama. That's also he said. He didn't say, you all go, I will finish my work and I'll come and I give the report. No, he didn't say that. See, every little action of Hanuman is a lesson. How to be a team player, how to be a team leader. He was never proud of his achievements. On the contrary, he was scared after he came back. Rama didn't tell me to burn Lanka. He was hesitant also. So, with great humility, he will go and present the report to Rama. I did all this. I hope it's okay, like that. He didn't say, look, he didn't slap the papers on the table and say, look here, I'm done. You sent me to do this. I achieved it. No, he didn't do that. So all these are little things that we can incorporate in our daily transactions. Okay. Any thoughts? We can close for the day.
Lovely parallels as usual, Purnima. It's such an every Hanuman Chalisa session has been such an eye opener. Of course, the Bhagavad Gita sessions too, but Hanuman Chalisa, because personally for me, I chant it regularly, and now it's carrying so much more weight.
Beautiful. Yeah,
lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
One thing we remember and we employ it in life, that itself is a huge thing, no? It's so beautiful.
Yes. And what you said about Bheema roopa dhari asura samhaare, what you said in the end also, now with our how to deal with our daily problems when we are hurt.
Yeah.
We should remember that it's an ego crusher. There are little opportunities to crush our own egos.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Purnima, I said every word is an
eye opener.
And chanting the proper. Now, after hearing all this, we get some sort of bhakti by chanting.
Yes.
thinking of the meaning.
Yes. Correct.
No, it's so useful session.
Yeah, whatever we
Yeah.
to be packed with. See, that's what it starts with. Simply when we are children, we learn to chant, which is good.
Yeah.
When the Gayatri
Such a-
mantra they give to the children at the age of 8 or whatever, they don't understand anything, but it becomes a habit, it becomes a vasana. Later, it will bloom. That is the importance of
Correct.
giving the children all the sanskaras in the beginning, so that they take root as a vasana. And when we grow up like this,
Yeah.
I'm 62, then and then
Thank you.
everything will start making sense when we are ready. If I didn't have the
Mhm.
vasana for all this, it wouldn't, all of us,
Yeah.
so not just me, all of us here
Yeah.
didn't have that sanskara within us inside, it wouldn't have,
Mm.
manifested now,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of us, with a better, with a more meaningful manner. So that is the
Yeah.
importance of even God in mechanical chanting, one has to do from the beginning. Whatever Sahasranama, this, that, whatever we are doing there. Yes, Indra, you want to say something?
Yes, Purnimaji. The best part was that one point you said, no? Um, when it comes to the point of opinion, we should take the Sookshma Rupa. That is the best thing today's takeaway.
Correct, correct. We tend to push our agenda all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, we need
Yes,
to remember all
really,
this.
that was wonderful.
We need to remember all these things while we are transacting. That is why constant ghana ghora shravanam we have to do of all this. Not just simple shravanam. Always we should be in the shravana manana nididhyasana mode to be able to implement all this in our lives, at least to a certain extent. Okay. Can we close for the day? Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय Om Shanti 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 Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla Satchidanandatma Shivananu Nane Shivoham 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 Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Guru Charanarpanamastu